Hello, I'm Crickets and welcome back to I Have a Story. In my recent video, when I talked about people taking their lives jumping off the bridge, which I will link a video in at the end of this so you can see that video for yourself and see what I'm talking about. I had mentioned that the state of Michigan is going to be taking another turn for the worst for people who have mental health issues and are seeking help. Because we haven't already taken away enough in our state, right? Our mental institutes. I'll link another video in at the end of this one where the brother of the man who committed heinous acts in Traverse City um, tried getting help for their brother, and the brother was trying to get help, and there's no help for anybody. So the only thing we really have left here is counseling. But now they're taking people with problems and victims, they're taking away their rights for mental health counseling as well. They shut down the group homes that were designated for people with mental health problems. And that's part of why, according to the interview with the brother of the man who committed those acts in Traverse City, why he was on the streets and still committing those acts again when he could have been, we could have protected our community from these people. So what is going on now? And there's been Facebook posts from a few mental health professionals, and speaking to many professionals that I do, I'm hearing that this is supposed to start in October of 2026 this year. That as a client, a patient who's seeking help with their mental health issues, you are no longer going to be allowed to pick your own provider. So if you know somebody who's recommended somebody to you, you don't get to go and say, hey, I want to see this person because so and so that was helpful for them. Or in my case, I've seen many in my family, and people around me have seen many mental health care providers throughout the state of Ohio, Michigan, and I'll tell you what, the absolute vast majority of them are absolute failures. I'd already talked about how when I was going through my first divorce and everything I went through with the courts and what was happening to my son, the abuse, all of it, the mental health professional, the first one I ever saw and talked to, all she had to offer me was drugs. No feedback whatsoever. No breathing techniques, teaching me different ways of coping mechanisms. No no feedback whatsoever. The only words that came out of her mouth was, "You need drugs. You want to try drugs? You want to up your dosage and try different drugs and more drugs and drugs." And that was a mental health professional. And I walked away and didn't go back for a long time because I just couldn't believe what I experienced with that woman. So many of these people have no business being a mental health professional. So not only are you not going to be allowed to pick your own provider anymore, but if you're already seeing somebody, the state now can make you change and go to a different counselor and pick and choose who you get to see. So for like in my instance, I've been with my counselor now for roughly 4 years. I have an extensive history. I don't want to be forced to change and go to somebody else and then have to re explain my whole history all over again. I don't want to go through all that all over again. That would make me even more mentally ill to have to deal with that. But our state, they seem to just want to cause mental illness and take away every aspect of rights that we have and help that we have in order to become better people and not commit acts like what happened in Traverse City in certain people's instances. To me, counseling and my counselor is not just to help me mentally. My counselor, because not only do I have an extensive past history, but it all continues today. And my counselor, in my case, is there an awful lot for documenting what is taking place as I record. I've had meetings in her office with people that I'm having problems with. She has sat and listened, watched firsthand after different instances take place that I've recorded, video, audio. I send them to her, and this is what happened today. This is what happened yesterday. This is tomorrow. This is what happens. And she's documenting all of that to be a professional witness for me, hopefully, when I get back to court. So now Oh, and on top of that, I mean, my same counselor has also received a certified letter from one of the people that I'm having problems with and have talked extensively about on my channel, threatening and harassing her. Well, that's very relevant when we're going to go to court for all of this. So I need to maintain my relationship with my counselor. This is terrible. Why is everything? We have so much knowledge and history behind us. I've said this about so many different aspects of our life. We have so much knowledge and history behind us to learn from and to understand, but yet our whole entire country, every aspect that I see around me anymore just feels like it's working backwards. Like they want us to erupt. They want the bad to take place. So here's another problem. Not only can they dictate, and I mean, this is what dictators do, right? Not only can they dictate who you go and see, they can also dictate whether they deem you necessary to even see anybody. Can tell you how many visits you're allowed. They can stop you in the middle of your counseling and say, you know what, you're fine. You don't need to see a counselor anymore. Who is our state to determine that? Wouldn't that be the counselor's job who's seeing us? Not the state of confusion. I mean, the state of Michigan, it just seems like the state of confusion all I'm in anymore. It's hard enough as a victim to seek help. And when you do, and then you get dictated by officials who have done nothing but destroy our state, our communities, our people, even our nature. They've devastated all of it, but yet they want to continue just creating this harm. So how is it up to them to determine whether you need to see anybody or not? On a provider side, I see so not just for the victims, but for people who have these mental health offices, buildings, professions, whatever you want to call them. How is that going to work for them when, I mean, is our state going to be biased? Are they going to just start opening up new offices? I mean, even Gretchen Whitmer's come out and said, you know what, we're going to take away very high ranking positions in our state and claim that you don't need to have any sort of history, knowledge, education, degrees in order to maintain these jobs because we can't find anybody who wants to do them anymore. Part of the reason is because people are suffering from mental illness from what our state has done, taking away their rights, violating people for doing their job, and they're losing people. And then I've talked about our prison systems. I mean, you talk about people who really need to see counseling. The people who work in our prison systems are one of them. And we have, from my understanding, prisons here in the state of Michigan that are running illegally underneath the numbers that they are supposed to maintain of employment for officers in those jobs, for people who are prison workers. Our police departments, our prison systems are running underneath numbers that are lower than what the legal minimal requirement is to maintain those facilities. And those people are suffering. I've shared stories about that on my channel, and even people's stories that have posted on Facebook. The wife who posted on Facebook about her husband who's a police officer and what he's going through, having to work double shifts, overworked, people on getting drugs and introduced, officers and prison workers getting drugs introduced into their system. Now they're overworked. They're getting drugs introduced into their system. And oftentimes they're getting a finger pointed at them too. But when it comes to the counseling offices, what happens when they take away all of the clients from an office and put them in another office? And then that can hurt their business because, well, now I'm no longer allowed as a professional to advertise or to get word of mouth and maintain my business. You can take all my business away from me and send it to somebody else. And then what happens if they overwhelm that business? Or when, again, we don't need degrees in history and any sort of knowledge about a job in these aspects, and we can just open up businesses and let just some random people become your counselor. Is that what this is about? Scratching people's backs, saving money, dictating us, controlling us? What is this? So who is it in our state that's going to handle all of that and figure all of that out? Is it just going to be based off of finances and money? Is it going to be off of people's best interests and needs? The best healthcare providers providing the best services to clients? I don't know. I know I don't trust our officials after everything I've seen go on. And I know if they do this to me, it is going to devastate my situation, along with so many others. And then how many more people are going to be jumping off of bridges?